I'm going to show you 3 different ways to plant up a hanging basket with 1 or 2 surprises along the way. Don't forget to comment below and let me know which one you like the best. The funny thing about hanging baskets is they divide the population. You either love them or loathe them, but I'm going to show you one today that I hope everybody could love. Traditional and yet tasteful. And as with all hanging baskets, make sure they're sturdy. This one's made from really strong wire and steel. I like my hanging baskets to be well furnished around the sides as well, otherwise you end up looking at a load of wire and coir rather than plants. So I've cut holes every other gap. Just make a hole as near a circle as I possibly can. Going around there. There we are, that bit's gone. Now, a lot of them are wobbly, and this one also I want to be able to get up inside it to plant these gaps. So get a bucket or a large flower pot. And instant stability. You can now see what you're doing, and it's much more accessible in terms of planting around the sides. When it comes to compost, peat-free, multi-purpose is absolutely fine. But there's also trough and basket compost, specially formulated. Ladle it into the basket, just as high up as the bottom of these holes. Trailing plants are the best, and ivy is so versatile, apart from the fact it's a perennial and just keeps on going and going and going right the way through the year and on into the next, and you can snip it back when it gets too big. Good variegated foliage on this one, silver variegated. And this little blue-purple flower called Bacopa. You can get it in blue, purple, white. Don't try to push the foliage through the hole. Do it the other way around. Squeeze the root ball, and the important thing is you can see the, look at that. Make sure all your root balls are really soggy, and then that just neatly pulls through there, and you can bed it into the compost. Now, don't throw away these, because they can sit inside now just to stop the compost from falling through the hole, because the plants themselves didn't fill the entire gap. You thought I'd throw those away, didn't you? Yeah. Fill up with compost now. Now, the biggest problem facing hanging baskets is drying out. They're hanging up in mid-air with the sun beating down on them. This helps. These are water storing crystals. You can add them to the compost, sprinkle them in, work them in with your fingers, and once water hits that, they expand and they become a kind of gel, and they just stop the hanging basket drying out quite so quickly as it otherwise would. That should be about enough. This is Diascia, a lovely, useful trailer. I'm just going to space these out so I can see what will go in between them. I've got a pot full of Lobelia here. It's not going to be totally symmetrical, this. That in there. This one used to be called Petunia Million Bells, and they've rechristened it Calibrachoa. Sounds like a throat complaint. Still quite pretty. The great thing about petunias in general, and these miniature ones, Calibrachoa, is they will flower right the way through the summer. They just keep on going. I'm going to get a couple of pinks in here. Oh, I always remember in my childhood the smell of garden pinks. That one will sit in there. That's more upright, but we'll see why in a minute. Got another one to go in this side over here. Another pink Mountain Frost Ruby Snow. Where did we get these names? And this is Petunia Funhouse Painted Love Purple. Snappy title, eh? But what a plant. Glorious combination of purple, white and lilac. And I'm going to feed in with a little bit more compost around it. You don't want air pockets. They always look a little bit sort of stuffed when you've just done them. But once they've been hung up, watered, in a couple of days, they'll have fluffed themselves up and look gorgeous. 1 down, 2 to go. You know how irritating it is when you want a handful of herbs from the garden and they right down the end and it's pouring down. Hanging basket, outside the back door, herbs to hand. Holes made, in the edge, creeping thymes. Oh, wonderfully aromatic. Same rules apply, poke them through from the outside. People get very timid about plants, but if you know which bits are tender and which bits you will damage and which bits you won't, you can do things like that and it won't matter at all. This is a lovely variegated sage. Sage is normally sort of sage green, that dusky grey green. This is one called Icterina, which has got leaves that are variegated. And a hugely useful herb. Chives, the little thin-leaved onion, which we love on buttered new potatoes. And that will squeeze in round here. A bit of a treat to go down that side there. An Alpine Strawberry. Now, Alpine strawberries are tiny. They're never going to give you 5 bowlfuls a week, but what they do in the hanging basket, you can see them starting here. When you're walking past, you can just pinch one and pop it in your mouth. And they do taste divine when they're sun-warmed. Have you decided which one you like best yet? Too early to say, I know, but 1.5 to go yet. This is Parsley. As a cry goes up in our kitchen more regularly than you would think from Mrs. T. Have we got any parsley? I mean, I told her where it is. I'm not going there. Now, rosemary is a very upright shrub, but this is a trailing variety. And in the middle, for a bit of fragrance, French lavender. Oh, straight to Provence. It's got to expand itself now, sort of breathe in, fluff up its feathers, have a watering, and then it'll stand up. And there we are, outside your back door, herbs at your fingertips, whatever the weather. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is a growing community for people who know nothing about gardening but want to learn, and for those who are more experienced, so come and join us. Now, if you've always avoided hanging baskets for the simple reason that you're out all day at work in scorching heat, when you come home they've dried to a crisp, this is the hanging basket for you. Succulents. They have their own inbuilt supply of water in these fleshy leaves, and they can go without water for days. Traily ones round the edge, and then my big showstoppers right in the middle. And then I reckon I can get these 2 in the centre, which just gives me that much more spectacle. And succulents do flower. This one's about to come, this Echeveria. Lovely thing. See, I told you it was worth waiting to see the 3rd one before you decide which one you like best. There you are then. The most vital thing for all of them is watering. Now, when it comes to timing, do it in the morning when you get up, and on days like this, clear blue sky, sun baking down, do it in the evening as well. Just a really, really good soak until it starts to drip out of the bottom. So take your pick. From traditional yet tasteful, a confection of pinks if you like, to the herb basket which can hang outside the back door and make them easily accessible in all weathers, to the one for the person who's away a lot and just doesn't have the time to do all that watering, full of succulents and drought tolerant. Which is your favourite? Comment below and let me know. Gardening has changed my life, so let me show you how it can change yours. I'll be posting new videos every week, so subscribe and let's get gardening together.